Hello everyone and welcome back to another video from your favorite and go-to YouTube channel about statistics, artificial and facts. Thank you for clicking on this video, and for today's lesson I will be teaching to you about elasticity. But before we start, please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell notification for more updates in the future. Thank you, and now let's go on to the lesson. Elasticity. Economists commonly measure responsiveness using the concept of elasticity. Elasticity is a general concept that can be used to quantify the response in one variable when another variable changes. If variable A changes in response to changes in another variable B, the elasticity of A with respect to B is equal to the percentage change in A divided by the percentage change in B, or elasticity of A with respect to B equals percentage of delta A over percentage of delta B. Price elasticity of demand. The ratio of the percentage of change in quantity demanded to percentage of change in price measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded to changes in price. Slope and elasticity. The slope of a demand curve may in a rough way reveal the responsiveness of the quantity demanded to price changes, but slopes can be quite misleading. In fact, it is not a good formal measure of responsiveness. We define price elasticity of demand simply as the ratio of the percentage of change in quantity demanded to the percentage change in price. Pounds of steak per month is slope delta y over delta x equals p sub 2 minus p sub 1 over q sub 2 minus q sub 1, or to put it in, equals 2 minus 3 over 10 minus 5 equals negative 1 over 5. Ounces of steak per month, slope is delta y over delta x equals p sub 2 minus p sub 1 over q sub 2 minus q sub 1, which is equals to 2 minus 3 over 160 minus 80, which is equals to negative 1 over 80. Now we get into perfectly elastic and perfectly inelastic. Perfectly inelastic demand is a demand in which quantity demanded does not respond at all to a change in price, while perfect elastic demand is the demand in which quantity drops to zero at the slightest increase in price. Of course, a lot of products have elasticities between the two extremes. When an elasticity is over negative 1.0 in absolute value, we refer to the demand as elastic. Elastic demand, a demand relationship in which the percentage change in quantity demanded is larger than the percentage change in price in absolute value, or a demand elasticity with an absolute value greater than 1. Inelastic demand, demand that responds somewhat but not a great deal to changes in price. Inelastic demand always has a numerical value between 0 and 1, while unitary elasticity is a demand relationship in which the percentage change in quantity of a product demanded is the same as the percentage change in price in absolute value, or a demand elasticity of negative 1. Elasticity and total revenue. The oil-producing countries have had some success in keeping oil prices high by controlling their supplies. To some extent, reducing supply and driving up prices has increased the total oil revenues to the oil-producing countries. Let's say if the Organization of Banana Exporting Countries, or OBEC for short, had done the same thing, the strategy would not have worked. Why? Suppose OBEC decides to cut production by 30% to drive up the world price of bananas. We can figure it out using this formula. TR equals P times Q, or total revenue equals price times quantity. We can now use the more formal definition of elasticity to make more precise our argument of why oil producers would succeed and banana producers would fail as they raise prices. In any market, price times quantity is total revenue or TR received by producers. Here are the key takeaways. When prices declines, quantity demanded increases. This is true in all markets. If, however, the percentage decline in quantity demanded following a price increase is larger than the percentage increases in price, total revenue will fall. This occurs when demand is elastic. The percentage price increase is outweighed by the percentage quantity decline. The opposite is true for a price cut. When demand is elastic, a cut price in increase total revenues. Calculating elasticities. Elasticities must be calculated cautiously. The fact that these two identical demand curves have dramatically different slopes should be enough to convince you that slope is a poor measure of responsiveness. Recall that elasticity of demand is the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. Calculating percentage changes. To calculate percentage change in quantity demanded using the initial value as the base, the following formula is used. Percentage change in quantity demanded equals change in quantity demanded over Q sub 1 times 100% equals Q sub 2 minus Q sub 1 over Q sub 1 times 100%. Still in calculating percentage changes, we can calculate the percentage change in price in a similar way. Once again, let us use the initial value of P, that is P1 as the base for calculating the percentage. By using P1 as the base, the formula for calculating the percentage of change in P is percentage of change in price equals change in price over P sub 1 times 100% equals P sub 2 minus P sub 1 over P sub 1 times 100%. Elasticity is a ratio of percentages. Once the changes in quantity demanded and price have been converted to percentages, calculating elasticity is a matter of simple division. Price elasticity of demand equals percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in price. If demand is elastic, the ratio of percentage change in quantity demanded to percentage change in price will have an absolute value greater than 1. If demand is inelastic, the ratio will have an absolute value between 0 and 1. If the percentage are equal, so that a given percentage change in price causes an equal percentage change in quantity demanded, elasticity is equals to -1. This is unitary elasticity. Elasticity and total revenue. As we know, countries have had some success keeping oil prices high by controlling supply. To some extent, reducing supply and driving up prices has increased the total oil revenues to the producing countries. We would not, however, expect this strategy to work for everyone. If the Organization of Banana Exporting Countries, OPEC, had done the same thing, the strategy would not have worked. When prices increase in a market, quantity demanded declines. As we have seen, when price P declines, quantity demanded Q increases. This is true in all markets. The two factors P and Q move in opposite directions. Effects of price changes and on quantity demanded is P rises while Q decreases, and P decreases and Q rises. Because total revenue in the product of P and Q, whether TR rises or falls, in response to a price increase depends on which is bigger, the percentage increase in price or the percentage decreases in quantity demanded. If the percentage decreases in quantity demanded is smaller than the percentage increases in price, total revenue will rise. This occurs when demand is inelastic. In this case, the percentage price rise simply outweighs the percentage quantity decline and P times Q equals TR rises. Effect of price increase on a product with inelastic demands. P rises times Q decreases equals TR rises. If, however, the percentage decline in quantity demanded following a price increase is larger than the percentage increase in price, total revenue will fall. This occurs when demand is elastic. The percentage price increase is outweighed by the percentage quantity decline. Effect of price increase on a product with elastic demand is P rises times Q decreases, TR is also decreased. The opposite is true for a price cut. When demand is elastic, a cut price increases total revenues. Effect of price cut on a product with elastic demand is P decreases while times Q rises equals TR rising. When demand is inelastic, a cut in price reduces total revenues. Effect of price cut on a product with inelastic demand, P is decreased times Q, which is increasing, equals total revenue, which is decreasing. The determinants of demand elasticity. Elasticity of demand is a way of measuring the responsiveness of consumers' demand to change in price. As a measure of behavior, it can be applied to individual households or to market demand as a whole. Availability of substitutes. The most obvious factor affecting demand elasticity is the availability of substitutes. As a measure of behavior, it can be applied to individual households or to a market demand as a whole. Now that we know what elasticity is about, now let's get on to the graphs, shall we? Once you hopped on into Excel, don't forget to input your data for your quantity or Q and for your price or P. After inputting the data, don't forget to highlight it. Once you have highlighted it, you go to Insert, then select the Insert or Scatter bubble chart, then select the Smooth Line option. And your chart will come out something like this. After that, you can rename it into Demand Curve. Now that we have the curve, we can finally continue the equation. There are steps to the equation, so first we must find the delta Q. And to find out the delta Q or the delta quantity, you have to first input equals, then select the two data, which is in my case A3, and then minus A2. And now we have the answer, and you click the square and you drag it down, and there you go. Now you have delta Q. Now for delta P or delta price, you first start by equals, then select the two data that you need, which is B3 in my case minus B2, and there you can have the delta P. As you can see, that is the delta P. And now on to the next part, which is negative delta Q and negative delta P. The way you find out about it is first you have to input equals, negative or minus, and select the data that you need, which is in my case C3 and D3. C3 over D3 equals $2. Now you click on the square and you drag it down, and now you have the complete data for negative delta square and delta P. Now on to the next, P over Q. You find it by having equals the P and the Q, which is B3 in my case divided by the quantity, which is A3 or 2. And there you have it. You have the P over Q. And now you drag it down and you can see the results. Then for the final part, you go to epsilon or E. The way you find out about it is first you put equals, then you go to the E part and select the data, in my case which is E3 or $2 times F3 or in my case $5. Then you select the square and you drag it down, and there you have it, the epsilon. And that is how you do a demand curve in elasticity. Thank you for attention. I wish you guys nothing but the best, but before I go, please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on this topic. Thank you all. God bless you.